Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Randall. This is the McClures. We react, review, make fun of, we laugh at stuff over here. Sponsored by McClures.store. Links down in the description. We're going to be checking out a Joe Rogan clip today. He's got Louis C.K. on the podcast. Looks like they're going to be discussing 9/11. So if you don't know nothing about 9/11, get your mind blown right now. Let's check it out.
Anything like that, because it's all the young people. There's always young, trendy people whose parents pay for an apartment in New York City, and they show up and they're just like, I'm a New Yorker. And they came in, a lot of the kids that are there now came in during this sort of golden sort of Bloomberg era when it was Giuliani had just, stuck plungers up many black anuses to clean the place up. And we all kind of watched like, oh, don't do that. Ooh. Like, which sort of turned away.
People forgot about
cleaned
that
up the
story.
city. What's that?
People forgot about that.
Amadou Diallo was the name of the guy.
That's right.
Yeah. No, Abner Louima. It's two guys. Right. Abner Louima, I think, was the plunger. It's Giuliani time. They stuck a plunger handle up his ass and said, Amadou Diallo is a guy who was shot something like 68 times because he had a sandwich in his hand. That
Jesus.
Kind of looked like a gun, even though it was, veal parmesan.
People forgot about
looked like a gun.
Giuliani.
Even though it was veal parmesan. They shot him 65 times. Okay, not a good story. Not a good story. Leslie.
Point in time, people thought he should be president.
Nice.
After the way he handled 9/11,
that's
everybody was like, he's our leader.
Yeah, and just because he walked down the street with a coffee and said, "Oh boy, it's rough," that's basically what he did. He didn't stop 9/11. He didn't solve 9/11. He didn't save anybody. There was no one to save. That's the most fucked up thing about that day is that there was no, they had the hospitals were all ready and there was not like one, there was like nobody was injured.
Yeah. Were you living in New York City when that happened?
Yeah, I was. I was not in the city. The day before on the 10th, I flew to L.A. to pitch a fucking TV show.
Wow.
And my wife was pregnant. And we were living in Greenpoint, Brooklyn.
My 9/11 story, I was in Arizona. Obviously, wasn't in New York. But I worked at a telemarketing company. And we were literally calling people. And they're like, you're trying to sell me shit. And they're attacking the country. And we were like, what are you talking about? And then like 15 minutes later, they called it. And they were like, all right, we're shutting down. Everybody go home. Yeah, crazy day. That was a crazy day.
Which was right. I mean, you came out of our house, the towers were our view right out the door. And so she was there 6 months pregnant and whammo. And she called me. It was like 9 in the morning in L.A. or earlier. I guess it was like 6. And she called me and she was just bawling. And I was like, what's wrong? And she couldn't say anything. And I was like, what the fuck is going to, partly I'm like, am I in trouble? Like, and then she says, turn on the TV. And I saw the towers on fire. And I was like, oh, okay. It's nothing to do with home. This is it's a world problem, not a me problem.
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure that's not my fault. No. Anyway, she handled it really well. Todd Barry, you know who Todd, right? He, called her. She's the one who told him like what had happened. He woke up not understanding what was happening, and he was really scared, and called my ex-wife, and she calmed him down. She's a good person. But anyway, yes, and I was like, get out of this. I just panicked living in Manhattan. Because I grew up with movies like Warriors. And with memories like the blackouts, and I wasn't even there for the blackouts, but there was all these blackouts where everybody got killed, and there was a lot of movies about like New York City is shut down, and everybody, and the wolves come out.
Yeah.
So I thought, as soon as it happened, I told her, get out of Manhattan. There's just going to be people throwing TV sets through windows in like 5 minutes. I just believed
I am
it.
Legend.
Yes, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So get the fuck out of it. So she got out of there.
Yeah, but it didn't happen. On that.
And then I was on the road, and I was in.
Did that happen? Was there like a lot of looting and robbing and that kind of stuff after 9/11 when the city was shut down? I don't think there was. I think everybody, even the criminals, were pretty much sitting that one out, bro. That was a gnarly day.
In LA, I was supposed to pitch a show, and I called the network and I said, I assume the meeting is canceled. And they said, Yeah, but if you want your show to go forward, we have to have. They made me do pitch a comedy
on September 11th
on the 12th.
Oh, the 12th. Well,
I had to go
gave you
in.
a day off.
What's that?
He gave you a day off.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It was a day to let everything settle.
Yeah, the 12th is my birthday. But so I had to pitch a fucking comedy, and it was hard. I mean, obviously that was terrible. And then I went back on the road. I was doing gigs, so I was flying as soon as they were flying. There was no airplanes for.
How many days was it?
I don't remember how long they didn't fly for, but I think it was a couple of weeks before a flight went up. I don't remember, but I started flying right away, and the airports were all empty, and everyone was allowed in the lounges, and everyone was getting upgraded to first class because the planes were empty. And for a while, it was part of the protocol. Before the flight takes off, they used to say they would give you the safety stuff, and then they would say you can use your seatbelt detaches, you can use it as a weapon.
Oh, Jesus!
You can use your seat as a shield. And
they would telling you that?
Yes, they would say this is part of the thing for like the first month after 9/11, and they would say we're here to protect you, but you have to protect us. They would say that. And there was one flight I took where I was flying first class, like seat 1B. I was right at the bulkhead. And this other guy sitting at one seat across from me, and the captain came out right before the flight, and he kind of squatted between us, and he said, "Listen, fellas," because it was a red eye. He said, "You're the last line of defense, so I need you not to sleep on this flight."
Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
I need you not to sleep on the flight to defend him.
Yeah. But of course, there's part of me that's like, I'm a guy, so I'm like, oh, yes, sir.
Yeah.
I was excited.
Yeah, I got asked once by a lady. These two guys were fighting, and they were thinking about removing the guys from the plane because one guy had put his bag above this other guy's seat. And the other guy goes, "Hey, man, that's for my seat." And he's like, "No, it's first come, first serve." He's like, "No, fuck you." And then they were like, "Fuck you. No, fuck you." And then the lady had to come in and go, hey, like, I will fucking kick both of you guys off the plane.
Yeah. This is before you took off?
Before we took off. She goes, "Do we have an understanding?" And they go, "Yeah." And then she comes to me. She goes, "Hey, if anything goes down, you're going to help, right?"
She deputized you?
She deputized me. I'm like, okay. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, like, what are the official? What's my directive? What are my orders?
If I go back there and smash some guy, am I in trouble? Like, what happens? What am I allowed to do?
Yes, you were directed by a company employee, and she has like federal power.
I need you to put that on video.
That's crazy. All right, well, I'm not sure what the big thing about that video was. It was definitely an interesting story, a little recap down memory lane. Not such a good memory, but anyways. Appreciate you guys stopping by for that one. I'm not even sure if I'll put that out as a video. Honestly, that was kind of weird, but if I do, let's do the closing anyways. So McClures.store. If you want to help support the channel, we sell quality American products. Don't buy it from the Chinese, Screw Amazon.